First of all, allow me to express my thanks for having given to me the opportunity to make a statement on the issue of Mexico and passenger name record data. I wish to first state that the Commission has always been committed to finding a legally sound European solution to the issue of transmitting PNR data for flights between the European Union and Mexico. Mexico has had legislation in force since November 2012, requiring all air carriers operating flights to and from Mexico to transmit PNR data. The competent authority in Mexico was therefore under the obligation from that date onwards to impose fines on those air carriers that do not transmit PNR data. Mexico tells us that EU carriers are the only ones not providing PNR data to the Mexican authorities. However, the Mexican legislation has not yet been enforced with regard to EU traffic because the Commission has asked the competent authority in Mexico to postpone the imposition of fines on several occasions. But the competent authority in Mexico made it clear earlier this year that the final deadline for transferring PNR data was April 1st, 2015. At this point, it is important to mention the Parliament's decision in November last year to seek the opinion of the Court of Justice on whether the draft PNR agreement with Canada is compatible with the EU treaties. This opinion is not expected, not before the end of the year. The Commission, therefore, sought a further postponement of April 1st, 2015 deadline until such time as the Court of Justice issues its opinion. The competent authority in Mexico finally agreed to postpone the deadline until July 1st, 2015, provided that the European Union commits to start formal negotiations with a view to an agreement. I therefore, as soon as possible, intend to suggest to the College of Commissioners that the Commission requests a mandate from the Council to formally open negotiations for a PNR agreement between the European Union and Mexico. It is clear that we will need to take into account the criteria and standards set out in the Court of Justice ruling on data retention of April 2014. This approach has been welcomed by Mexico and has enabled the Commission to secure the postponement of the sanctions from April 1st to 1st of July of this year. The Commission should have a Council mandate to start negotiating before the 1st of July of 2015. I have made it clear that negotiations on a PNR agreement with Mexico cannot be finalized before the Court of Justice has issued its opinion on the draft PNR agreement with Canada. The Mexican authorities are aware that this is the case. I have and will continue to keep the Parliament informed. I wrote to the chairman of the LIBE Committee, Mr. Moraes, before the 1st of April to inform him about the steps I intended to take to resolve the situation of conflict between the laws of Mexico and the European Union. I'm thankful that today you have given the Commission the chance to update you on that matter, and I will inform you once the College has taken a decision to recommend adoption of the mandate. Thank you very much for your attention.